Hey guys, welcome to the video. I'm Amy and I post 3 videos a week every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 12 p.m. EST. I post a lot of full face first impressions, 3-day foundation wear tests, full face one brand, monthly favorites, things like that. If that sounds like your kind of content, go ahead and subscribe so you don't miss out on mine. In today's video, I'm going to show you a 3-day wear test of the LYS Serum Foundation. This is the Triple Fix Serum Foundation. I have the shade LP4. If you'd like to see my first impression, I did do an LYS video already using the bronzer and the blush and the foundation. And so you'll see like my first reaction using it and my thoughts like that. In today's video, since I already did the first impression, I'm just going to walk you through 3 days of me wearing it beginning to end, and then we'll talk about my final thoughts. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started. All right, I'm going to go ahead and show you the beginning of day 1, the end of day 1, the beginning of day 2, the end of day 2, the beginning of day 3, and the end of day 3. Alright, so after wearing this for an entire week and trying it different ways, with different primers, with different powders, with setting sprays, things like that, I have found that my favorite way to wear this foundation is probably with like a light dusting of a pressed powder. This is a serum foundation, and I mean like heavy on the serum situation. It is very dewy, very glowy, very hydrating, which I love all of those things, but it doesn't have a very long wear time with that because of how like hydrating it is. It gets more hydrating throughout the day. It transfers onto your hand and things like that. Not that it really like broke up too badly, but it was just like a lot, and you could like feel the, you know, stickiness of it. It's not something that set down but stayed radiant. So on the first day, I just wore, you know, moisturizer and my sunscreen, and this. My sunscreen is very glowy though. So on the first day, that was my first impression day. The first day you saw here, you see here is I wore this without putting on my sunscreen. I would always put on sunscreen, but I just wanted to see, is my sunscreen causing it to be too radiant? You know what I mean? And it still looked super radiant. It was really beautiful the first half of the day. I really do love it unset, but it just doesn't last how I want it to last. It doesn't feel comfortable and last without being set for me personally. So on the second day, what I did is I used the e.l.f. Putty Primer, thinking that might kind of like matte it down, but I also heavily set it with the Becca loose powder that I used, the little Hydra one. And I like took my sponge into that powder and I set every inch of my face. And by the end of the day, it was just too much for me. My dry skin cannot handle that much. It did look nice, like from afar, it was like, wow, flawless base, perfect. But up close, it was like, oh, you're a little cracked, you're a little heavy, you know, you're a little cakey. My dry skin really didn't agree with that heavy of a powder. So on the third day, I met myself in the middle. I did not use the primer. I did use my sunscreen and regular routine, because I was like, this is how I'm gonna do it every time anyway. I don't want to take my sunscreen out in order for foundation to work, if that makes sense. So I put on my sunscreen, I put on the foundation, and then I took a big fluffy brush like this into the Bite, what is this stuff called? Changemaker powder, pressed powder, flexible coverage pressed powder. They say flexible coverage, but I don't think that it gives me any kind of coverage. But it is a really nice setting powder that keeps the radiance on your face. It doesn't mattify you or anything. And I just did like, I didn't like lightly brush it across. I did kind of powder my whole face like strategically with the powder, because I did want it to stay, but it obviously was not as much powder as with the loose powder that picks up way more powder. So I set it with that, and I thought it looked beautiful all day long. This was my favorite way to wear it. That's definitely how I will wear it in the future. So that's discussing the wear and the wear time, and you can see all of those up close clips. Another thing I want to mention is that this shade LP4, it is too dark for me. I'm not wearing it today. The color I'm wearing today really matches my skin quite well. As you can see, like, I'm matching my hands, I'm matching my neck. I'm looking like a pale person that I am. This is definitely like a summer shade, and I mean like the darkest I would ever get. Since I have worn it like 5-6 times now, I'm not going to be returning it or exchanging it because I just don't feel comfortable doing that once I've worn something so much. And I do like the formula, and since it is more of a light to medium coverage in my opinion, I feel like I could easily throw a couple dots of another foundation that has maybe a little bit more coverage that actually is usually more of a matte foundation, and probably get something really beautiful mixing those. I have not tried it yet, but I'm really aiming to. So this might be a good foundation for me to mix into my other foundations in the summer to give them a little bit of kick. But the undertone I felt really good, and so it doesn't look completely out of place on my skin. It just is a little bit too dark for me, and that again is the shade LP4. But yeah, I think that is all I have for you guys today. If you have any questions about this foundation or want to see anything else, let me know down below. I can always like throw it into a foundation roundup and talk about any specific FAQs that you may have or something like that. Or DM me over on my Instagram, and we can talk about it there. So yeah, that is all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up. It helps me out so much. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!